Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Mark, a trainer here at WEX Field Service Management, and today we're covering daily operations for office users. Now, today's webinar, we will go over what a job is in your system. We'll do a job page overview. We'll run through a job together on the schedule page from start to finish. We'll talk about your work queue, unassigned appointments versus service requests, how to do a job with a second visit, like a callback, flag for follow-up to make sure you're keeping up with your follow-ups, job reporting so you can manage your jobs in bulk with a live Q&A at the end where you will be able to ask your questions and get them answered live on stream. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into WEX FSM. All right, so when you first log in to your system, it's going to bring you to the schedule page. And the first thing that we're going to talk about is jobs. Now, what is a job in your system? Your jobs will show up in many different places. It's kind of like the core feature. A job folder will hold everything relating to each job that you do, and those will be organized per customer. When you create an appointment on the schedule page, it will create a job. And if you hover over that appointment, we can see when I made this appointment, it created job 13394. So that is one way that jobs are made, is when you create an appointment, which we will do together in just a minute. But let's go to our customer, Mary Smith. Now, if you need to search for a customer, in the top right-hand corner, there is a quick search. You type your customer's name, location, address, um, phone number, email, and that will show up here. And we're looking for Mary Smith, so I'm just typing in Mary's information. Since Mary is already part of my customer list, she's showing up here. If you need to add a customer, you can simply do that by clicking the red plus button here, and you can fill out the information and save your customer. Now, as a pro tip for adding customers, down below here, if you have a customer who does not have an email, email is required to create a customer by default, but you can bypass this by turning off opt out of marketing email. So actually toggle that on, and then opt out of email notifications and toggle that on. I do get questions about this, so I do like to always add that pro tip. And that now has gotten rid of the email because, sometimes customers just don't have emails, or maybe you didn't grab it from them and you need to get it later. So that is adding a new customer, but we already have Mary Smith here. So we're going to go to Mary Smith's customer page. Now, when you're on a customer page, and remember, we're talking about jobs. So when you create jobs, they will show up in a timeline on the right-hand side, and each of these gray rectangles represent a job, and you can see the job number here. And as you scroll down, you'll see all the different jobs that you are doing for this customer. And you can click the little red arrow here, and it will show you everything that is inside of those jobs. And so if you're quickly searching for stuff, you can, without having to click in and go into each folder, you can see exactly what's inside of each job with the drop down here. Now, we want to take a look at a job, and I've built one out so we can see everything that may be inside of a job. And so I'm just going to search for my job 11918. So I'm typing in the job number. It's going to search the timeline, find the job that I want, and then to get into the job to see what's inside that job folder, you will click on the red text here. This is the job number, and that will bring you to the job page. Now, this job page, at the very top left, we have your job number, job name, which you can edit. Whenever you see a little paper and pencil icon like this, that means you can edit. We have the customer name. This is hyperlinked. So if you are on this page, you want to go back to the customer page, you just click here. And another pro tip when using WEX FSM, these little red squares with the arrow in it, that means open in a new tab. So for those of you who like having multiple tabs open, WEX FSM is designed to have multiple tabs open at the same time. So I can click on this and that will open up Mary Smith's customer page in a new tab, but keep my tab here open for the job. We have a job tracker at the top. So as you create appointments, proposals, purchase orders, invoices, and take payment, kind of work your way through the job, you will see the progress at the top here. And then the job summary gives us a lot of great information and functionality here. Job status, is the job open, closed, or abandoned? Job type. Now, the job type is really just asking what type of job is this? And I recommend setting these up based on your company, your industry, what you do, the types of jobs that you do. So we do have some examples here, but this is great for reporting. Every time you create a new appointment or create a new job, you will tag it with what type of job it is. And then when you go to your reporting, that will come in very handy because then I can say, how much money did we make from installs last month? And as long as you're tagging your jobs with install, you'll be able to pull that up very easily. Now, to set up your job types, you will go to settings, jobs, job types. And this is kind of like the admin page where you will set up the different types of jobs that you do. You'll simply click add new job type. If you're doing HVAC, maybe you're going to have things like no AC, no heat. If you're doing plumbing, maybe it'll be pull and reset toilet. But based on what you do, you want to put those here. And then on your jobs, you'll be able to tag them as such. Job price, that's going to be the pricing strategy that this job is going to take on. So every job that you create will always start with the standard price. That means that the pricing that you have in your price book is exactly what you have set. There's no discounts, there's no added fees. It's just the standard price. But we do have a way for you to set up different pricing strategies. So maybe you want to set up one for maintenance plans. You offer 10% off parts for your maintenance plan customers, friends and family discount, military discount, or even adding for after hours. So if you have after hours on the weekends, you can set that. To set this, you will go to more applications, price book, pricing defaults. Now, we do have a price book webinar and instructional videos about this, so I'm not going to deep dive into pricing strategies today, but this is just to show you how this relates to the job and where you can set this up. So you can set modifiers here to either subtract percentage or add percentage to create different pricing strategies. And then you will see that reflected on your jobs. And just a quick note about the maintenance plan pricing. Whenever you add a customer to a maintenance plan and they become a maintenance plan customer in your system, any job you create for them after that will automatically take on the maintenance plan price. So you don't even have to think about it. So if that's something that you offer, like a discount for your maintenance plan customers, that is already built in and that will auto select the pricing. We also have calls and notes. So any notes that either you create in the office or you create out in the field on the mobile app will show up here. Checklists will be found here. Equipment history. So I'm a technician. I'm out in the field. I got my mobile app. I'm looking at the equipment and I'm documenting all the equipment. That will be documented on the job here, and any future job that you create, you'll be able to see the equipment history, which is really nice, especially if you are new to a job. Attachments will be here, review requests, user allocation, and profit and loss. And just some context on profit and loss. Each job that you have will tell you how much money you've made. It will show you the profit per job. And yes, you can set permissions to make sure that your field technicians do not see the profit and loss if that is a concern for you. But the profit and loss section, in order for this profit number to be correct, you're going to want to have two main things set up. Number one is product cost. And the product cost is set up in your price book. And so if I go to more applications, price book, my price book, and I am just going to click the drop down here on parts. And let's just look at my general part one. So I've created a part in my price book, and right here, every item in your price book is going to have a cost section. As long as you have the cost filled out here, when I add this item to an invoice and that invoice gets paid, it will subtract the cost of each item so we have a proper cost for the product when factoring profit and loss. So that's number one. Make sure you have your cost filled out in your price book. And then number two is the labor cost, and that is how much you are paying whoever's working the job. To make sure that that is set up correctly, we will go to Settings, User Management, Users. On the user page, when you are adding your users, you will be able to, and I'm just going to click on Dustin Bailey, my field technician here as an example. And right here, it says labor cost per hour. And welcome, Carrie. We are recording today's session, so you will be able to watch a replay of this. I'll show you where to find that at the end to catch anything you may have missed. Welcome, Carrie. So when factoring profit and loss on jobs, it's going to factor in the labor cost per hour. So by going to Settings, User Management, Users, each user that you know is going to be tracking time on the job will need to have their labor cost per hour set here. This is asking how much does it cost you to pay this user for 1 hour of their time? And as long as that is filled in, let's say Dustin goes out on a job, he's going to clock into the job, he's going to do the job, he's going to complete it and clock out. It will factor the time in on the job to give us a labor cost. And then that way your profit and loss reporting is correct. Next, we have a way to add a belled note. And so when you are, when you're doing your job, you may get annoyed on how many times you're typing in the gate code for a customer, or maybe there's some information that you always want to know or always have on hand. Maybe filter sizes. This says gate code, Mary has 2 cats. If you need to go inside, don't let the cats out. Just important information that is unchanging. You can pin a note and it will show up on every job you create for that customer. That way, there's always a documentation of that note. To set up a belled note, you will go to the customer page. And from the quick actions, we have, right here, leave a note about the customer. So if I click on this, I can write a note. If I do not click the bell, it will just show up in the timeline as a customer note. that I can search for in the future. But if I do want this to be a belled note, I will click the bell. I can even tie this note to a address. Now, if I don't select an address, it's going to show up on all locations. And then you type in the information here and hit save. Those belled notes will be pinned to the very top of their timeline, so you always can see whatever note this is. And then any job you create for that customer, you will be able to see that as a belled note here. And the field technicians will see it as a belled note at the top of the appointment as well from the mobile app. Now, each job has four main sections to help you run your business. And we've got appointments and service requests, proposals and financing, purchase orders, invoices and payments. And every job that you create will have these sections. Appointments and service requests. Any appointments that you create will show up here. You can create multiple appointments per job. So I do not recommend making multiple jobs per appointment. You're going to have your job, which is like the issue the customer has, the thing you're trying to solve, and then you can have multiple appointments. So if it takes you 6 visits to do a big project, let's say, you will see each visit as an appointment throughout here. Also, someone else has joined. Letitia, welcome. Just to let you know, we are recording today's session. So if you missed any of this, you will be able to watch that as a replay. I'll show you that at the end. But welcome. And Carrie, I see your comment. Hi, and thank you. Yes, welcome. Okay. Next, we have proposals and financing. So if you're going to create a proposal, whether you create those here from the office or out in the field with the mobile app, you can create a new proposal, which will create a proposal from scratch with really nothing on it. Or you can copy from existing. And the copy feature does come in handy when you do the same types of jobs over and over again. When you click copy, it will first show you your favorites. You can click the heart next to the job form. Here, you can see it kind of grayed out on the left side in the background here. But click on that heart and it will add it to your favorites. And then when you go to copy, it will show you your favorites here. And you can name them so it's easier to know exactly what type of document this is. And when you copy this over, it will copy it. It will add the new customer information and make it a new unique document with all of the previous information. And that can save you some time from having to build it from scratch. Each proposal that you see, you will be able to quickly convert to invoice by clicking the convert to invoice button here. You can look at the PDF by clicking the PDF icon. This is what your customer will see. And then you can send this very easily by clicking the paper airplane icon. Select who you want to send this to, and then hit send proposal. Each time you send it, you will be able to see a timestamp of the last time you sent that, so you can keep track of that. So that is proposals. We also have proposal comparisons. The comparison tool, the way that this works is you first will build out individual proposals. So that's number one. You'll want to build out each offering, let's say. So let's say I'm doing a furnace install. I would want to build out maybe a good option, a better option, and a best option as individual proposals. And the proposal comparison tool will allow us to then assemble those different proposals into one comparison. So when my customer looks at it, they will be able to see all of their options side by side. We also have purchase orders. So if you're going to order supplies, you can do that right from here. You can create a new purchase order or copy from existing and edit as needed. Those purchase orders will be an official document that has all of the information. Now, you do need to set this up. If you are new to this, maybe you will want to watch the suppliers and purchase orders live stream, but you can create your purchase orders right from WEX FSM, send them to your suppliers, and get those orders fulfilled right from the job. And then invoices and payments, this is going to be your invoices that you create and any payments that you take, you will see down here. Now, when you create your invoice, you will want to either process payment or record payment. And to give you a little better idea, I'm going to open this invoice. But this is a pro tip. When an invoice is paid, it will automatically close the invoice, which means, it's paid, it's done, it's closed out. But if I need to make an edit to this for any reason, you will click on the drop down here under invoice status, and you need to set it to open draft. So I've definitely had that happen before. I'm like, why can't I edit this? I need to click on this and it's grayed out. You need to set it to open draft. So I'm going to click on the invoice number here. And when you have a invoice open and we scroll down, you have some options for taking payments. Now, to pay now is going to process through WEX FSM, and that will send the money to your bank account. Record payment is if you're processing outside of WEX FSM. So that would be like taking a cash payment. You still need to get that money into your bank account, taking, let's say the cash to the bank and depositing it, but you still want to record that you took that payment. So you would use the record payment option. And then, of course, you can send this out to your customer. By sending it to them, they will get a invoice. They'll be able to review it and make a payment online. And that will be the exact same as processing. So they'll enter it in and that money will be sent to your bank account. So those are some payment options. And once that payment has been made, you will be able to see those payments on the job page at the bottom. All right, so that is our overview of a job, what is inside a job, and some of the kind of admin office prep that you would want to do to make sure that these different things are set up correctly. Next, we're going to go to the schedule page and talk about scheduling. We're going to run through a job together from start to finish and talk about the work queue. So from the schedule page, we have your actual dispatch board. This is your schedule, which looks like a calendar. And then we have the work queue. And the work queue is draft appointments that are not quite ready yet to be officially set into the dispatch board. Also, Dina, welcome. We are recording today's session, so I will show you how to watch that replay at the end to capture anything you may have missed. But welcome, Dina. Oop. So when you are creating your appointments, you will have actual appointments where you know the date, the time, the technician, you got all the info, you're ready to do the job, and those will go here. And then the work queue, these are, like I said, these are draft appointments. They're not quite ready. But the difference between a service request and an unassigned appointment, service request means you're not really sure the date or the time or the technician. There's a lot of information missing, but you just want to document this is a job we're going to do in the future. Unassigned appointment, you know the date, you know the time. You're just not sure exactly which technician. Maybe it's like, hey, we're going to get to you by the end of the day today. I'm just not sure which one of my guys are going to go out there. We'll let you know soon. And so this is unassigned appointment. So let's now create an appointment and run through a simple job together so you can see that flow. When creating an appointment, there's two main ways that you can do this. You can either click on the board here under the date, time, and technician that you want, or you can hit new, and that will just create a new appointment from scratch. Let's go ahead and say we want to do a 12 p.m. appointment with my technician, Dustin Bailey. I'm just going to click right here under 12 p.m. And we have two options for creating appointments. We have the customer appointment and we have other event. Other event is going to be internal events. This would be things like meetings, holiday, sick leave. You can say that someone is out. And this is just great for kind of back office internal events. Customer appointment, that'll be your main appointments that you're creating for your customers. And we are going to search for my customer, Justin Hernandez. I just clicked on his name. And now we are into creating the appointment. At the very top here, you have your customer info. You can quickly see how much money they owe you. So the balance is here in case you want to talk about that while you're creating the appointment. And then you have job location. This will have a drop down if they have multiple addresses, multiple locations. You'll be able to select from there. Now this part is very important. This is how you're going to organize your jobs as you're scheduling. So when you create a new appointment, you have the option to create a new job folder, and this appointment will go into a brand new job. Or you can click the drop down and this will show you all previous jobs for this location. And so if this is a callback, this is a second visit, you'll want to make sure that you select the previous job that this appointment relates to, or else you're going to save it into a new job. It won't relate to that other job, and your field technician may not be able to see or know what's going on because they won't be able to see the history. So when you're creating your jobs, just make sure that everything relating to that job is selected into the correct job folder. For today's example, it's a new issue for Justin. We're going to do new job. For my HVAC crew in here, let's just say this is a simple no AC call. And then that is a service job type. And we have two options here for creating an appointment. There's schedule now and service request. We'll come back to service request in just a minute. For today, we know the date, the time, and the technician, which has already been pre-selected because I clicked it on the calendar. You can add additional technicians here if you need to. You need to put some helpers on here. You can do that. And then to remove, click the X. Appointment tags are great for reporting. It just gives you another layer of reporting. So maybe I have this tagged as a service job type. So I can pull this job will show up when I look at my reporting and pull up service jobs. However, maybe I want to also add this as a no AC call. So then I could get even further in my reporting and look at just my no AC calls. But another good use case for this, and actually a customer taught me this, using these as small reminders so you don't have to type something every single time. So if there's stuff that you know you want to add, like a reminder, let's say bring the 12-foot ladder, you can just add that as a tag. So instead of in the notes having to type that out every time, you can set your own tags, and then your field technicians, they'll be able to see the tags right at the top and know, oh, I need to bring the big ladder today. Now, you do have notes here. This is going to be internal notes for the field technician and just for the job. So this, you can put anything you want to here that you need to. Your customer will not see this, and this is great for reminders, gate codes, anything that you may need the technician to know or for running the job. And then we have appointment notifications and reminders. When scheduled is turned on, when I hit schedule, it's going to send a appointment confirmation to my customer, letting them know the appointment has been made. You can send reminders 1 week and 1 day prior. An en route when this is toggled on, this is going to allow your field technician to send an on my way message to the customer. Scenario, I'm a field technician, I'm sitting in the truck, I hit on my way. That will send a message to the customer saying, hey, your technician Dustin is on the way. And then you have who do you want to send this out to? Just a pro tip, if you need to send to text and email to the same customer, go ahead and just add them as a recipient, same one, and update that to email. All right, so there we go. We are good to go. Let's add, just a note here, gate code, and then schedule. Once you click schedule, that will create a job folder that will take this appointment and put it in the job folder. And then if I hover over the job here, I can see we have created job 13395, no AC. And if I want to go into this job, I will click into it. Now for this job that we're doing, let's say Dustin has now at this point gone out and is ready to start en route to the job. Let's go to the job and we're going to simulate the field technician doing the different stages. So Dustin, he's in his truck, he's ready to go. He's going to change his status to on my way, which means that he's en route to the job. And from the office side, I'm going to see moving dotted lines. And those moving dotted lines means he is on the way to the job. He's going to get to the job. When he gets there, he will then select, I'm at the job now doing the work. And those moving dotted lines will stop. So it'll just be a outline, a dotted outline. I know Dustin is now at the job doing the work. Then when he is finished, he will mark the job as complete and it will turn gray. So it's really nice from the office side, especially if you're like the schedule and dispatch person, you can see at a glance who's on the way, who's at the job, which is complete. And in theory, at the end of the day, everything should be gray, meaning that all jobs were completed for the day. All right, let me check my notes here before we move on. Okay, cool. We're going to create some work queue items, and then we will move on to reporting. So to create a unassigned appointment, you will start the same way, either by clicking, on your date time or hit new. For unassigned, you'll probably just hit new, and then we'll type in our customer. Let's do Mary Smith. So unassigned appointment means I know the date, I know the time. I'm just not sure the technician yet. So you will select assign later and then hit schedule. That will add it to your work queue as an unassigned appointment. And when you're ready, you will just click and drag and drop. And now we're right into scheduling. And if all the information is correct, you didn't even need to update it. You can just hit save. And now that's officially scheduled. For a service request, we'll do the same thing. So clicking new, typing in our customer. And then we will select right next to schedule now, we will select service request. And service request is, I'm not really sure when we're going to go out. I just want to get this on in the queue. That way I can look at it later. So you just need to know, how long do you think this is going to take? Add any tags that you want, add any notes that you need to. You can kind of pre-prep this and get this in a good place, and then click save. That will save in the work queue, but it will be a service request versus an unassigned appointment. And you have the option to either show all, which is going to be both service requests and unassigned together, or you can isolate them with the different tabs here. All right. So now going back to our job here with Justin Hernandez, we are ready to take payment, let's say. So, my field technician, he's finished the job. We're ready to take payment. So, let's just quickly go through that. I'm hovering over the appointment. I'm going to the job by clicking the job number. And then we'll scroll down. We want to create an invoice. So I'm clicking the drop down and we're going to hit new. And we will click add item to access our price book. There's two ways you can search. You can either type in what you want. So I want a general part. So I just type in what I want, select it. That will then add it to the invoice. And then click add item. And you can also just search through your folders up top here. So if I click on my folder, I know I need some labor. So I'm going to go to general, service, and I want this one, general labor 1. I've added the items I want. I will scroll down. And like I mentioned earlier, we'll take payment. Let's do record payment for this one. And I'm just going to put we're paying for this invoice that we're on today. Payment method is, let's say, cash received today, and then record payment. Once I've made that payment, we'll scroll to the bottom and we can see the invoice here is closed, marked as paid, and the payment is down below here. But we want to, so I have 3 more things that we're going to go over before we get into our Q&A. And the first one is follow-ups. So look, for this example, we were able to take payment, the job's done. But let's say that we needed to do a follow-up. There was something that was preventing us from completing this job. So in this scenario, let's say Dustin went out and he wasn't able to complete the job and he needed a part. So we got to order a part. When that part comes in, Dustin will go back and complete the job. Now, one of the best ways to do this is to use the flag for follow-up feature. Every job that you have, and you can do this from the office and from mobile, is you add a flag to it. You will click on flag for follow-up. You'll put in the follow-up type, which you can customize different follow-up types from hitting add new follow-up type. And let's say for this example, we need to order a part. So I'm going to select part order. I can even assign this. Let's say that Alex is the one who does all of our ordering. I can assign this to him and we'll see that on the job list when we go there. And then, need this part and hit save. That will create a flag. This now will be recognized in your system as a flagged job. You can click on the red bar here to edit or update the flag. And the place to keep track of all your flags so you can manage your jobs in bulk is by going to the job. Oh, wait. Going to the job list. So we're going to go to jobs, job list. The job list is, well, very simply, a big list of all your jobs in your system. But more importantly, you can search by flag jobs only. So if I click here, show flag jobs only, any jobs that have a flag on it will be here. So flag for follow-up. If I click on the flag, I can see here's the flag we just created. Let's say that the part came in, part came in, Dustin installed, job complete. Add any notes or updates you need, and then you can mark this as a completed flag and hit save. That will then remove it from the show flag jobs only filter, but it will still show in your jobs when you look at it. So it's a great way to keep track of flags. So your technicians can add a flag to a job from the field. You can add it from the office, and you can manage them very easily from here. The next thing is the job summary report and the receivables report. So to get to your reporting, you're going to go to reporting here in the main navigation. And you'll want to click on original to see all of the reports. And we're going to look at two reports from here. The job summary report in the job section, which is right here, and then the receivables report. So the job summary report, this is great for seeing a summary of your jobs. And what that means is number of appointments, were they scheduled, were they completed, were any proposals signed, and do we have an invoice for that? So for those of you who are kind of like the checks and balances person at your job and make sure that jobs are running smoothly, if someone creates a proposal, did it get converted to an invoice and get finished? It's very easy to see that from here. So, and feel free to bookmark your favorite pages. And then you can just open your bookmarks and be right on the page or right on the reports that you need to see daily. The next, and just as a reminder, from reporting, we'll go to receivables. And the receivables report is all of your invoices in your system. And a great use case for this, if you are the person in charge of collections and making sure people pay their bills, this is going to be your best friend. You can see filtered totals. You can search by job type, payment status, invoice status, technician. The filtered totals will update as you change your filters at the bottom here, or sorry, at the top here. And what I love about this the most is, who owes me money and how can I remind them to pay me? We will select from the payment status here. We're going to select, I want to, oh, is that, no, yes. Okay, sorry. Hello, brain fart. From payment status, we're going to select overdue. This means that it's past the due date. These are the people who officially owe us money. And we just want to send a reminder to them so they will pay their bill. We can select all, send invoices, and hit send. That's going to send out payment reminders to everyone in the list. And then it's really nice when a lot of people pay their bill all at one time after sending out reminders. All right, you guys, that is all the information we have for today's presentation. We're going to move to our Q&A in just a little bit, but I do want to remind you that we currently have a holiday promotion going on now until January 9th. If you're interested in this, you can use your phone to use the QR code and go to the registration page. But basically, it's a referral program. If you refer a business and they sign up, then you will be entered to win a Traeger Tailgater grill and earn $500 credit that will go onto your account and help pay your next bill. Also, the person who signs up will get a $500 credit on their account as well. So if you're interested in that, feel free to enter into that. All right. So thank you guys so much for watching. We will move to our Q&A now, but I just want to say welcome to my newcomers and thanks for watching. My name is Mark with WEX Field Service Management, and this has been Daily Operations for Office Users.